Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going through the Sunday games of AFL Fantasy and SuperCoach. I know this one came out really late, but we are going to power through this really quickly, get through all of these in hopefully 15-20 minutes. Shouldn't take too long, and then this will be out and I'll be all caught up again. I keep on falling a little bit behind, but it should be a little bit easier in the near future to catch up as well. But anyway, let's just jump into the video here. So, as you can see, we have the GWS versus West Coast. This was the early Sunday game, and Lockie Whitfield took the Mickey 139, 148 split. That was absolutely ridiculous from him, and yeah, he just went nuts. So yeah, he is definitely a trade-in. If you haven't already watched those trade targets videos, then go ahead and watch them. They should be in the most recent uploads, so I'll put them also up on the channel as highlighted videos for you guys. But anyway, yeah, Lockie Whitfield 139, 148. He was ridiculous. Darcy Jones, he went off early. He kicked, I think, 2 goals, I want to say, in the first half. But also he just went away early and got his points up massively. I think it was on like 88 fantasy at halftime or something like that. It was something ridiculously high that you were just looking at it going, he's just having a game. Quarter 1, he had a 58 pointer, 2 goals. Quarter 2, 24 points. So it was on 82 at halftime. And then in the third quarter, 19. And then in the last quarter, a 22. So yeah, he just, in the first half, if you look at the numbers, he had 4 marks and 5 tackles alongside 14 touches and 2 goals. That's almost a game. Let's actually look at this and just go through. He basically did, and I'm going to pull him out here, he effectively had a better game than Toby Bedford's full game and a half. It's almost the comparison there. It's Toby Bedford's full game in a half a footy. Like, that is how good his half was. So, yeah, it just shows you, and I'm just trying to see, is there anyone here that had a reasonably similar game? But maybe even like a Jack Williams type of performance in a half a footy. And then he went on and still did stuff in the second half. Toby Green, 123, 149. He was really good as well. Captain's performance, 3 goals, 24 touches, 7 marks, and 5 tackles. He ended up very same amount of points as Darcy Jones. And yeah, just really good. The SuperCoach score was flowing in this game for the likes of GWS comparative to West Coast, and we'll see that if you had already not seen the glance that I got at the West Coast scores. Tom Green, a guy that I've looked at in SuperCoach and some other things, just thinking about, can I grab him or not, is the big question. Is he that much of an upgrade? Is he going to be top 10? Because that's what you're really looking for these midfielders. I wouldn't say you'd love to grab the top 8 guys at this point in the year for midfield, but you're not going to necessarily grab them. So yeah, is he top 10, top 12? I would that's my line of thought, and I just don't think he could be. I just think there's potential for tags flip, and I don't like the look of that if he's the number 1 tag target there. Hogan, 117, 138. He should have just kept on kicking the ball through the big sticks like he was in the first 3.5 quarters, because he was absolutely ridiculous. Had a really outstanding game. At one point, he had 9 touches, 8 marks, 1 free kick for, and 9 goals. Or was it 8 goals from 8 touches, including 7 marks and a free kick, I think was the stats that he was running with. It was absolutely clean, efficient, and yeah, he went off. Connor Iden, 100, 110, yep. And then basically Finn Callaghan, 79, 72, copped a little bit of attention as well. It's just having a shocking day by Foot. He's totally going to be the guy that just annoys us, that he's going to go 110 when we trade him out, or 120 when we trade him out. It's just like, well, you're probably going to have to cop it, but I think he's going to be a sort of 95, 100 guy in the long run, and the guys that you're trading in the long run are going to do better than that. So that's what I would say with Finn Callaghan, and why I'm very want to trade him out, even though, like I said with Horton Francis on the live stream, I can recognize that with Finn Callaghan there's avenues for him to score. I just don't know who's he got. I don't know who he's got this weekend, but I'm pretty sure he has an all-right team this weekend to play against. So let's just look at that quickly. He has got where is it? He's got St Kilda. He's going to cop a tag. So I'm happy to trade him out when he's struggling, and he's going to cop a tag. And then I pretty much used my allotted time there, or what I plan to use on them. And then we can just skip over West Coast because they don't matter other than Ryan Marrick, 73-88 split. He did really well. He had a couple of clangers late, which kind of damaged his scoring in the second half. If he'd had the clangers in the first half, it would have been a lot more damaging. It would have probably lifted him, or sorry, restricted him to like an 80 or a 75 probably. But in the end, he got to an 88 in SuperCoach, which isn't going to burn the people that don't have him, but it isn't kind to see the cash generation that he's got there. Bailey Williams, 69-53. I don't think Matt Flynn made the trip. So yeah, that means that Bailey Williams and Jack Williams will partner again. Those two adding about 130 points across. Fantasy 135 and SuperCoach only 115. So yeah, big difference there. Harley Reid went off halfback, had a couple of turnovers there, 3 clangers, 84% ball use though, so not the worst ball use, but just not the contested beast that we know he is. Jack Graham, 64-64. Thought he played more of a half-forward role, but that will be interesting to look back at the stats after this video is done because we're trying to fly through. But he's been a guy that's been touted as a tagger. Ruben Jimby, I feel like they need to move into the midfield sometime soon, just because I feel like he's finally getting footy under his belt and really sort of learning as an AFL footy player, and I think he's a guy that could transition into that midfield, but we'll see. Tom Gross, outstanding first game. We'll see how he pulls up in the second game for SuperCoach purposes, but definitely a guy in fantasy that I'm willing to trade in this week. Sandy Brock, very, very similar on the SuperCoach front. An 80 is absolutely huge. Came up against Hogan and couldn't really do much. And then the rest of their team basically just sucks. Hall is a guy that you can trade in this week. They let Tim Kelly stay at home. He didn't fly, so he's not playing. I don't know whether he'll play Waffle, but so that means that they're going with Gross and they're going with Hall, you would expect, which is really, really good for SuperCoach because we get those cash generators in. And I'd expect one of them to have a big game because GWS dominated in the midfield. So I don't know who West Coast have this week, but I'm pretty sure watch them have like a stinky matchup. They've got Carlton. Surely their midfielders can do better than they did against GWS. So we'll see how they go there. And it should also help that it should be a closer game in terms of scoring. So that should help out their SuperCoach. And then Noel Long subbed out and Hamish Davies came on. Not going to be relevant, I don't think, unless he pops a big score in a full game. And that's pretty much it for this for that game. Then we go on to Port Adelaide against St Kilda. And the big man himself, Jason Horne-Francis, 125-153 split. That was amazing to watch. And yeah, he was just absolutely amazing. 28, 6, 6, and 3 goals is huge. We always talked, and I think I've mentioned this maybe 5 or 6 times already this year, this Port Adelaide backline is so going to be inconsistent and indecisive that I feel like you just can't pick any of them. Bergman, although he's coming more off a wing, I feel like, than a half-back, but he still scored well the last couple of weeks. Still wouldn't select him, no. Georgiades did all right. Zach Butters came back from injury and 30 touches. He probably is the guy that starts copying the tag, I feel like, a little bit more than the likes of Rosie, just because he's actually turning up. Rosie, 84-76, that was horrific. I want to trade him out in fantasy, but I just don't have the way because I need to generate cash, and I kind of went a week early with upgrades, so he'll be staying put in fantasy, but in SuperCoach, he is definitely on the chopping block. Ollie Wines, I don't know why they bother rucking with him. Sam Powell-Pepper scored a really good score, 74-ish, I would say, for those that have him in SuperCoach still. Good cash generation there, if I remember correctly. Richard Sweet. Farrell, 62-70, sorry. This is just what I expect with guys like, and this is why I'm worried about Marek to a certain degree, is that he could drop a game like this and suddenly it's like, yep, kaput game, need to trade out. We saw with Fraser that same thing happened, so that's why I'm a little bit worried about it. And then Moreira's 54-43. This could be a little bit worrying, but he's still got the negative break even. So just put him on the bench and just hope for a good enough score that's not going to override your sort of rookies on field, but is a decent enough score that he can generate cash. Could also be used if you have looping options because he plays the last game in the round. And then Josh Sim back to earth, 48-53. We were talking about him heavily when he scored an 80 last week in terms of SuperCoach, the week before, around 3, but only an 80, kind of disappointing. Jack Sinclair, not the greatest trade-in, but still a pretty good trade-in. A 118 in SuperCoach, not the best in fantasy, but we take it. He was, I think, man-marked by Mead, I want to say, or Burn Jones, I want to say. Which kind of sucked, but it is what it is. He probably will get freed up this week against, I want to say it's Melbourne. but let me just double check that. He has, who's he got this week? He has got GWS, so that'll be a tougher game. We'll see how he goes, but yeah, that was a 118 as a captain's always going to take. The late goal that he kicked out at about 20 points. And then you've got Wayne Malira, 91, 1, 2, 3. That was a pretty good game from him as well. 25 touches, 3 and 2. And he ended up with a goal as well. And then you've got Wilkie, not going to be relevant. Jack McRae, really good in terms of his clearances to get himself up to the 100 from 28 touches, 4 tackles. Would have liked a couple more marks and disposal efficiency to get that into the 120 range, but is pretty negligible because pretty much everyone has him in the game. Burns, Cameron Minty, Roll Marshall, 75-61. Bradley Hill as well, 73-100. None of these guys are really relevant. And then we pretty much can go down to Toby Travalia, 48-52. And this is probably why, with the news about Tim Kelly missing, that I want to save the extra 45k from Travalia to Hall, because Hall's probably going to get a better opportunity in terms of role, plus also the job security is somewhat stronger than Toby Travalia, plus he's 45k cheaper. He hits all the boxes there, and that's why I trade him over Travalia in, even though before this I had Travalia in over him. Then you've got Garcia back down to earth, and we expect Steele back this week, so that's that. And then Max Hall kicked a goal, so 56. Had him on the bench, didn't matter for SuperCoach, but still good cash generation. Should be another week or two of him, and then we ship him off for 240, 235k, somewhere around there. Webster, Jones, Hasty as well came on, 18-38. Would have loved it for it to be an 38-18 split, but it is what it is. And then Keeler subbed out as well. And then we get to the last game of the round. We are flying through this at a good pace as well. You've got here Caleb Sarong, a 1-2-1-1-4-2 split. That was amazing from him. 38 disposals, 7 tackles. I think he had 6 tackles in the second half or something like that. 24 contested possessions, 15 clearances at 71%. I am actually surprised he didn't go up in terms of his multiplier more. I'm surprised it was only like a 1.15 or so that his multiplier was, but anyway. Andy Brayshaw, 119, 135. That was pretty good from him. 29 touches, 2 marks, 9 tackles. Just don't know if the marks are sustainable given Frio's averaging, I think, 68 marks in their last 2 games and 75 on the year. I don't know if he's going to be able to, if they go to a more, as I said in the trade targets videos, if they go to a more kick mark style rather than this contested game, then he's going to lose his tackles. And does he pick up enough marks to cover that? I don't know if he does. So that's why. Ryan with the 109, 134, that was amazing. I'd like to see more performances like that to, I guess, be solidified in the thought that he's still going to be top 8. Tracy, good score as well, 3 goals there for him. Jordan Clark got to his 101, got to his 100 basically, and that was it. 26 touches for him, 5 clangers is a little bit disappointing, but it shows that there's improvement there potentially for him. Luke Jackson injured, Bolton Sharp, O'Driscoll injured as well, and then you've got 46 for O'Driscoll, 2-3 for Jackson, if I remember correctly. You've also got Dudley, 56-46 split. That was a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. He still scored and just got a negative break even this week if you want to tempt it. Murphy Reid is probably the number 1 or in the top 2 or 3 for the Rising Star at the moment. Even though he doesn't have a nomination, he'll get one eventually, even if it's just for his long-winded sort of I guess his accumulation of games, because they generally do that after round sort of 10 or 11. They start to just give it out to guys that have played really good bunches of games, and Murphy Reid's one of them. He's top 3, you would expect at the moment, and he's just sort of had freakish performances by rookies in the other weeks before him. Bamfield, Pierce, Ross, Johnson, O'Meara, no one else here really. Then we get over to the Bulldogs. Sam Darcy. This is intriguing. 21 touches, 11 marks, 1 tackle, 2 hitouts, 5 goals. What do we do? He's, I think, top 3 or 4 in forwards. He's a key forward, though. Like, why do we keep just not forgetting about him? But it feels like we're almost forgetting about him too a little bit. And then you've got English as well. This one I'm not too certain about. Yeah, 114, 107. I just don't know if he can do the top line efforts. Harms, no. Libba's falling back down to earth. Kennedy as well. Sanders, good score for me in fantasy. I just need him another couple of weeks to do that so that he can gain some more cash and can be traded out at like 700, 715k. Bailey Dale, a 110 in SuperCoach, 92% disposal efficiency. Just don't know if there's enough quantity there for him to repetitively do this, or whether he's going to be 110, 80, 110, 80 and stuff like that and just not relevant. Oscar Baker, Ed Richards, 83-97 split is all right, but not perfect. We know that Bont's coming back in a couple of weeks, Trelaw a couple of weeks after that, so we'll see how that develops in terms of the Dogs midfield. Then you've got as well Davidson, 65-54 split, not the greatest game from him. 5 clangers, 61% disposal efficiency. He'll be better, you would expect. And then that's pretty much it, as no one else mattered. Frazier, 44-49. If you didn't have him, good on you for staying away. If you do have him, probably a trade now that he's got a 115 break even, I think, across both platforms. So anyway, that is the video. I should keep this one nice and short for you guys. Just getting through all of the games just to round out the round 4 of the AFL season on Fantasy and SuperCoach. If you guys did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe. If you guys are watching on Spotify, or listening on Spotify, not watching, you'd be listening. If you are listening on Spotify, give me a follow and a rating over there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for my team reveals and my predictions. Bye, guys.